guarantee the value of each human's life. There is not and never can be anything else more valuable than a human's life. If one human is valuable, then all people are valuable.
Well, we're looking at investing in human life. We have to invest in one another versus, product and financial gains. I think there's no greater payoff for humanity than to invest in one another through education, through compassion, through empathy. The greatest or the largest return on investment is when we invest in one another. And we tap into the value that all humanity has. And we take away these imaginary or man-created boundaries that we have. Like, again, Andrea was saying, we're one society. Everybody gets panicky. I personally envision a world where there are no borders. Definitely we need to have some sort of order. That is just how the universe works. We need to have some sort of, order in order to be able to thrive. But we can do so from a place of love and a place of compassion and investing in one another and through that education piece and allowing people to grow and to tap into their potential. I mean, we are all creative beings. We have so many, I can't even imagine I can't imagine where humanity would be if everyone had the same opportunity, if they knew their value and they weren't put into these desperate situations where they felt like they didn't have a choice. If we talk about the trafficking piece, which is so heartbreaking, where parents are selling their children just to be able to survive, to buy a cow so that they can feed their other children. These are uneducated people. They're our most vulnerable section of society globally. So when you have education and you invest in that, then you don't feel as desperate. You don't have that sense of, or that lack of value, I would say. So I think when we invest and you become less vulnerable, you become empowered when you know your true worth. When you know that you have value as a human being, just the core values of just being alive and breathing and being able to contribute. So I think the piece is absolutely, we have to invest in one another. We have to enable people to be able to know their worth and advocate for themselves, their own well-being. We can look out for them as well. We have to, teach them that, the saying that goes, you can teach them, you can either give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day or a week, give him enough fish, but you can teach them. You can teach people how to fish for themselves. And then that way they are not only feeding themselves and their families, but they are also feeding, a village, a community, so it's just that investment piece in teaching people the fundamentals of their value, how to advocate for themselves, how to keep themselves safe, not only physically, but psychologically and emotionally, give them the tools that are lacking, that they don't know. They just don't know because we don't have that, giving them the tools so that they can develop their intellectual capacities. And when we develop that, then everyone benefits from that. That is the greatest commodity. Humanity, the human being, the human spirit and soul has to be the number one commodity in this society as we transition from a material society into a more human society.
Thank you, Holly. It sounds great that investment, it is the greatest investment when we invest in the human life to know the worth of self. Now, Andrea, take a look at the second foundation and please comment how this will improve the current crisis we see. Second foundation, human freedom. Every human is born with the right to be a human being. All people are born free and equal. Everyone has the right to choose. There can be no one and nothing on the earth superior to a human is freedom and its right. The implementation of human rights and freedom must not violate the rights and freedom of others. So, Andrea, please share your views about this.
Well, in order to have human freedom, that would represent that human respect should exist. We should give every human on this earth the respect they deserve just by the mere fact of being human beings. That means that even if we're talking about people that don't have access to the education, or they are in worse circumstances because of the place on earth that they have been born to, that means that they deserve the exact same respect and be treated as equals as any other individual of the planet that nowadays have more privilege. That is to say, since as the statement that you just read, every human being is born as an equal, that shows us that no baby on this planet is born being racist. No baby on this planet is born hating with hate. Every human being that is born on this planet is born as a loving creature that sees everything as a source to absorb and learn from. That means that things like hate, racism, division, those are things that children learn as they are growing up, because their family teaches them that, because society teaches them that, because children ultimately only absorb what is in their environment. But if you raised up a child with only these morals and statements like human life that you were talking before, human freedom that you're talking about, if you implement that as you're raising up or teaching your children on this planet, that means that you are creating a next generation of respectful humans, that we create a world where human freedom would be a reality. And I love that Olga said before, we don't need revolution, we need evolution. We need an evolution of our consciousness. We need evolution that is also tied to our education. And most importantly, how are we raising up the next generations? Are we raising up a generation that is insensitive to other human life? Are we raising up a generation that doesn't see refugees as human beings, that doesn't believe that everyone deserves the same freedom and rights? I am only 20 years old, and I have a lot of faith in my generation, because I believe that we have shown that we care. Now, of course, not as many as needed care, but that's because we still haven't been talking about these topics. That's why it's so important for my generation to keep in mind how it's going to be the generation of the future. What children are we going to be raising up on this world? Because it all depends on us. What we are doing at our home, with our family, with our siblings, parents, the way we treat the people we love the most, it's more important than what your government is doing. It is, because in the future, that is not so far away as it seems, the destiny of humanity, you would realize that it has always been on your hands. And, you know, I was talking to a colleague of mine. It is estimated that in 2040, you know, in 2040, we're talking only like in 20 years, there will be no fish in the sea. That means that my children won't know where the fish is. Most of the 80% of wildlife will be extincted. That means that the butterflies I'm seeing today will no longer be in the future. What kind of world are we living for the future generations? What kind of legacy is your generation creating? What are you doing about it? Only if we ask ourselves these questions, we will live in a world where human freedom is possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Holly. And then Dr. Samveer, you've already mentioned the third third foundation of the creative society, but let's also, I'm going to read it, and then maybe you can also comment how can improve the living conditions for all if we implement the first, all the foundations, including this one. The third one is human safety. No one and nothing in society has the right to create threats to the life and freedom of a human. Every human is guaranteed free provision of essential life necessities, including food, housing, medical care, education, and full social security. Scientific, industrial, and technological activities of the society should be aimed exclusively at improving the quality of human life. Guaranteed economic stability, no inflation and crisis, stable and same prices around the world, a single monetary unit, and a fixed minimum taxation or no tax. The security of human and society from any kind of threats is ensured by a unified global service that deals with emergency situations. What are your thoughts on that, Dr. Sambir?
Yeah, human safety is the basic necessity to live in a society. And when we talk about refugees, they needed most this thing. Because when they shifted into another country, the currency changes, climate changes, religious cultural changes, they face at every step in that particular country when they become refugees. So it is the basic need to get the primary safety about the education of their children, about the job. If somebody is becoming refugee and under very worse circumstances, people become refugees. So they must be talented person. They are the citizen of another country. And under the different circumstances, they have to change the native place. So they also have talents. They need job security. We must create job security for that refugees. Those are talented and those who can make a good impact on the society in different countries. So human safety in part of economic safety, like at all level, all refugees will get a same price throughout the world with same currency. We doesn't need to, you can say, compare currency to currency. So under the poor situation or circumstances, they become refugees. It's our responsibility to adopt them and provide a right kind of atmosphere to live and bringing up their kids in a nice manner. They never want to depend on the different countries and you can say different NGOs, government. They can become sustainable, you can say, suitable citizen for that particular country as a refugee. So they can be productive if we treat them as a resource. If we treat as a human being, positive manner. So we need to make a good atmosphere, right culture, adopt them with love and care. It's they are like our brother and sister. We need to club into our society. So many people in the different parts every day. They shifted their native places. They shift and they left their homes. They are into search bread for a night. So it is our prime responsibility to take care of these people. Refugees, not a word. They are human beings. They are forcefully getting that situation to live in. Nobody want to become refugee. It's the you can say unfortunately conditions and the you can say poor fate of that particular country. They force their citizens to left their native country. So we must think about the safety. Only then we can create a good atmosphere to live their livelihood in a better way, in a respective manner. They also have dignity. They never want to let down their, you can say, prime esteem or ego emotions. They also have the good heart. So we must take care of them.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. It was such pleasure to be part of this international discussion. It's so great to see all people from around the world coming together to talk about one of the most important things. How can we create a better future for all? How can we build this creative society where human life is of the highest value? And today we heard so many incredible examples, so many words of encouragement to show that we're all one big human family. We're all brothers and sisters, and there should not be any division between us. And, we see right now that the future truly depends on the action of each person, and that today humanity is standing on this very, very thin ice. And either the consumer format of society will kill us all, or we will enter this new level of positive development of our civilization. And today, the choice is up to each of us. And also at the conference, Global Crisis, Time for the Truth, we heard many examples of how ugly the consumer format is. And there is no chance it will hold up against those climate threats, which are growing as we speak right now. And that is why the creative society is our only possibility today, to take the society, to take our civilization to this new level of development. And I would like to thank everyone for being with us today too. It was a pleasure to have this discussion.
Thank you very much to all our guests today. I would like to end this discussion with a sincere invitation for everyone who is watching us right now to an international forum, Global Crisis. We are people, we want to live, on 7th May 2022 on the Creative Society platform. The purpose of this forum is truthfully and objectively inform humanity about the increasing danger of the climate and environmental disaster, to reflect the real scale of multiple crises of the consumer format of the society, and to consider practical solutions to overcome all the crises by building the creative society around the globe. Be part of history with us and become a part of global solution. So see you all on 7th May. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone. And if you still have any questions, comments,
Thank you so much.
yes.
Namaste,
and if you would like to be part of this international discussion in the future, please email us at info@creativesociety.com. So thank you so much to all our speakers today. And until next time.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.